Welcome back to Along This Spiritual Journey. I am your spiritual tour guide, Ja. So what do you do in the aftermath of the eclipse? Something that is crazy that I had to tell and talk about, because when I tell you that my body is aligned with its energy, it's nuts. So right before the eclipse happened, like right around the 7th to the 8th, I already have like a weird skin stuff like eczema or whatever. And so recently it's just been breaking out like crazy. My body's just been inflamed. It's been like, I was breaking out on my face, I was breaking out on my hands, I was breaking out everywhere. And I was just like, I haven't had an outbreak in like months, almost years like this. And I'm laughing because when I tell you that my body was trying to signal something to me, and I was not aware of it, but when you do the work continuously, your soul is healed enough to do the work for you, even if your body and ego are not always paying attention to it. And so I'm having this outbreak, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm buying all these medications offline, trying to do all these soaps and scrubs and everything and ointments, just trying to get my skin back to normal, trying to figure out my diet and cleaning over everything over profusely, because I live in a humid area. So in humid areas, you get like mold and stuff. It's just part of living in a humid area. So you have to constantly keep the space ventilated and clean and just making sure that nothing is sticking to your skin. So you're constantly showering. So now I'm over showering, I'm over cleaning, I'm stripping my body of its natural barrier, right? I'm overdoing it, and I'm thinking that something's wrong with me when my body is signaling that it's more about my environment, like pay attention to your environment. But instead, my ego is like, what's wrong with my skin? And I'm overdoing it, over cleaning and over stripping, to the point that I just had the worst breakout ever. And so I'm trying to figure this out, and I'm just going through all these motions. And so leading up to this, I was also meeting people energetically that were just not aligned with my energy. And I kid you not, anytime I meet people who are not aligned with my energy, my skin breaks out. I used to think it was a fluke, but I started to really pay attention to what my body was trying to signal to me. And when I tell you that every time I'm around energies that do not align with me, my face breaks out or something breaks out. And then it starts to test my ego, where I love my skin. So I'm over here picking and pulling and overly chemical and doing things I shouldn't do, because again, instead of trying to act what's wrong and with my environment, I'm attacking my body. This is the part of the spiritual journey that I feel most people don't talk about, because it's really important to pay attention to when the body is speaking to you. Your body will tell you everything you need to know about what is happening to you and around you if you genuinely pay attention to it. If you slow down and don't get mad at the body and ask it questions, it will give you answers. And most of us, like all of us, we go straight into attack mode, like a virus. We start trying to pick apart the body and cut things off and open things up and take things away as if it's the body's fault. And the body is only a vessel, right? It's only as good as the carrier. So if the soul is broken or the soul is misaligned, then it's going to start to leak. It's going to start to show through the body. So long story short, well, it's going to be a long story, but anyways, I start to really slow down. I tell myself, like, there's something else going on. So just slow down. If it continues to happen, call the doctor. Because usually I can get it under control with just diet alone and just not stressing myself out. So up until this point, this is a week before this event happened, like Saturday or something. Again, I'm meeting all these random people who are just, and when I say they're not aligned with my energy, like I met an energy where they're like, oh my God, I love spirituality, I love consciousness, let's talk about astrology. And I'm like, oh my God, this is like tribe, like this is my people. And then I went and hung out with this person, and when I tell you they talked about everybody behind their back, I was like, oh, this is what my energy was trying to warn me about. Like, just because you speak my language does not mean that we're aligned as energetic people. This is why discernment is so important. And every time I would meet someone new, they'd be like, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, these are my friends, but they're my boring friends. I don't like hanging out with them. Like, they suck. I like hanging out with these people. I like going out and partying. And I'm just like, The people I met, I ended up meeting these friends that they call boring. They were very nice. They're stable. They like to have fun at home. They're a small group of friends. They enjoy each other. And the whole time I'm hanging out with these people, they're having fun. This person's over here with arms crossed, attitude, falling asleep. Like they wanted to be the center of attention. And instantly my energy was like, this person is not your soul type. There's something off about them. They will throw you under the bus too. Get away from them. Now in the past, I would have stuck around this energy. I would have just kept hanging out with them because they were taking me to fun, exciting places and introducing me to people. And I'm all about networking. I'm an Aquarius. I'm a Gemini rising. So for me, naturally, I love to communicate. But not paying attention to this, I tell you, literally the night before hanging out with them, my skin started to break out all over the place. And it was just horribly broken out. And so finally, when I stop hanging out with them, it starts to clear up. So fast forward up until the eclipse, because this is a month before the eclipse happens. Up until the eclipse, this past Saturday, I chat online, I meet people online, and I, through different social media networks, nothing weird, just friendships. And I moved to a new area and I was trying to get to know people in my area. And so I met someone who's like, oh my God, there's a carnival going on. You should come check it out. We can meet. And like, yeah, we've been chatting, let's meet. And I'm thinking like, okay, yeah, that means nothing. Yeah, I wanna know the area. I wanna learn these people. So this is Saturday night that on the 8th that I'm like, or is it the 8th? No, on the 7th. It was the 7th. I'm chatting with this person. Let me see, the 8th. The 7th was Sunday, so the 6th, excuse me. So 6th, a Saturday. So this is the 6th day of the 9th month. Mind you, my skin started to break out on the 3rd. So right before everything happened, on the 3rd, my skin starts to act up again. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? Why is my skin breaking out? Why is this happening to me? So from the 3rd to the 6th, I'm getting crazy flare-ups. Finally, by the time the 6th comes and I'm chatting with this person and they're like, come meet me at the carnival, I'm like, sure, why not? Mind you, I'm meeting other people too, because I am on some of those dating apps where I'm just like, it's for conversation, no shame to my game. But I use it for networking. I literally do not go hook up and stuff like that. That's not my vibe anymore. I can't say when I was younger I did it, because to each their own, not to put judgment on anyone. But fast forward to now, I'm just using it as a networking platform because I want to learn people in my area and I want to know people around me. And so people are hitting me up left and right, and I'm just kind of like, no, not my energy, not my energy. And this one guy was like very persistent. He like wanted to give me his number right away and wanted to talk every day. And I'm just like, red flag number one, you remind me of energy from the past. Anybody who rushes in and is trying to force you to get to know them right away, something is wrong. I'm not saying that they're a bad person, but they're chasing something. They're trying to capture you and they're trying to get you caught. And I don't know what it is about that energy I just do not like. Now, mind you, when I was younger, I was this same energy. I would literally get on apps, try to talk to people, go down this checklist, okay, try to get their number right away. And then once I got their number, I would try to talk to them and like keep them all enthralled in me and texting them every day and trying to do all this performative stuff. And then I realized that's performative, that's wearing a mask. So this was all in accumulation with my skin falling apart and going crazy because it was basically my mask disintegrating. It was reminding me, you have been this fake persona before. Do not do it. Pay attention. Let it fall away. So as I'm talking to these people, back to the actual point of what I was saying, the 6th, this person invites me to the carnival. So I go, I meet them out Saturday, or I meet them up Sunday. We go out and I make it to the park early, so not a big deal. We were supposed to meet at 5 o'clock. They told me 5 o'clock. First of all, I made prior plans to go do some other stuff in another part of town. And they were like, no, I don't want to do that. I feel like there's a lot of traffic. I don't want to go there. So I was like, that's fine. We can do whatever you want to do. So like, yeah, let's go to this carnival. So now we're at the carnival. They said 5 o'clock. I get there at 5 o'clock. They show up at 5:19. Whatever. When they come down the escalator, because it's like a mall outside with the carnival all around you, it's like an outdoor mall type deal. They come down and they're on the phone and they're like, kind of acknowledge me on the phone. They hang up the phone. They barely look at me. They barely say, hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. They just start talking and walking ahead of me right away. And I'm just like, that's weird. Okay. Red flag number one. Red flag number one was them being late. But red flag number one for me, I would say the pink flag was being late. People can be late. Red flag number one was the non-acknowledgement. Them inviting me out and ignoring me instantly was a turnoff. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I was like, hi, nice to officially meet you. And I positioned myself in front of them to shake their hand. They're like, oh yeah, hi, how are you, da, da, da. So we're walking and talking, and I'm again thinking this is just a friendly meetup, thinking we're just engaging as friends. Instantly, they just start talking about my body. Oh, you're skinnier than I thought. Oh, okay, at first, oh, you're not as skinny as I thought you were going to be. You actually got a little weight on you. That's nice. Okay, because I like them a little plump, and I'm just like, okay. First of all, I'm not that big. You know, I'm a tall guy. I have a little weight, but I'm not like huge. And even if I did, so what? It's my body. I love myself. So, anyways, they go in on about my size and, oh, if I was just a little bit more muscular in the shoulders, and their usual type is this. I'm looking at them like, okay, I don't care. So anyways, we're out enjoying. I'm just like, whatever. I came all this way. It was like a 30-minute drive. I'm like, I'm gonna enjoy this carnival. I'm gonna enjoy my time. And so I do. We're hanging out, we're talking, we're asking each other's questions and stuff. They instantly start talking about the jewelry they like. Like, I love really expensive jewelry. Let me show you the type of stuff I love. So they're showing me around and they're showing me all these expensive pieces, and I'm looking at them like, cool, whatever. And then instantly I'm like, oh, they think this is a date. They think that they're over here trying to suss me out if I'm going to be a sugar daddy for them or something or whatever, because I'm a couple years older than them. Again, I was not thinking anything of it. I don't normally care about age range. I do normally care about age range. Let's get it straight. I don't like dating too young. I just think it's too much. Older, whatever. My age, whatever. Too young is just too much. But in this instance, they were a bit younger. I was like, fine. They're in their 30s. I'm 40, so it wasn't too weird. But it was still like a, okay. They think I'm gonna be a sugar daddy. Absolutely not. So the longer this interaction goes on, we're walking around the park and stuff, and mind you, I made plans earlier. They shut them down. And they were asking me like, well, what do you want to do? I'm just like, well, you invited me to the carnival. I thought we were just meeting up. They're like, well, I just like people who have a plan and can just take charge. And I'm like, first of all, I'm not your man. Second of all, we're not together. Third, I made plans and you didn't like them. So if you're picking the carnival, it is your choice on what you think we should check out. I'm open to saying like, hey, I want to go check that out, let's do it. But you're not about to make me feel bad about not knowing what to do at a carnival. It's meant to just go explore. So red flag number 2. The night proceeds. Yeah, it gets better. So as we're continuing to hang out, I'm like, whatever, I'm gonna let this go. Again, mind you, the skin stuff, because I didn't talk about that, I covered it up with a little bit of makeup because I didn't want to go out there with all these bumps and stuff on my face. It was crazy, like all of this, you can see it. There's a bit of discoloration, it's starting to come back now. But I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't want them to, and that was something that I should have listened to for myself. I don't need to change myself for anybody. It is not that bad, but that little bit discoloration made me feel like self-conscious. So I put a little concealer on or whatever, and I was like, okay, fine. So I put on a mask first. So that was my own indication right there where I'm like, why did I do that? Anyways, as I'm continuing to hang out with this person, we decide, okay, let's go get something to eat. At first I wasn't hungry, but then they were like, okay, well, I want a steak and I want this and all that. I'm like, cool, well, I'm vegetarian, borderline vegan. I only eat cheese. So I'm like, I still consider myself vegan even though I have cheese. That's it though. For all the people out there who want to attack, sorry, I do. But they literally were like, I want this most expensive meal. I'm like, okay, great, because you're gonna buy your own meal. I'm not paying for your meal. So we just met. This is not a date. You said we were meeting as friends. So all these indicators are going off. Mind you, don't get it twisted. This person was beautiful, gorgeous, my typical type. right? I'm 6'5", they're 6'3", very muscular, very nice skin. They said that they modeled and all that, took care of themselves. Great. In my past younger years, I would have gave them everything they wanted. I would have ate right off that spoon. So in that moment right there, I knew that I grew up. I knew it instantly that I was not the same energy. So because of that, I continue on. We're eating, it's fine. And then they just start asking all these crazy questions and sexual questions and do you want kids and all that. And they're just mixing everything in. And I'm just like, this just feels weird. It just felt off. And I'm just like, I'm not into this. So after dinner, whatever, I'm like, let's just split the check. There's a cookie place. I'm like, all right, let's go get some cookies. And I'm like, yeah, okay. We go stand in line. And then they start getting an attitude. They just start and being rude. Oh, first I forgot. They like, oh, I gotta go brush my teeth. Fine. They have like the Invisalign, so they had to go brush their teeth. They were in the bathroom for like 20 minutes. 20 minutes. It takes nobody that long to brush their teeth. I don't know what they're doing. I really don't care. 20 minutes. So right there, I was like, you like to waste people's time. I see that now. Noted. They came out, then we got in the cookie line. So then they're getting an attitude, like I said, huffing and puffing. And I'm like, whatever, I'm just ignoring it. And then they sit down, and then they go on their phone. And I see them literally get on apps that I'm not on, like Scruff and other things and other apps. And they're looking at guys and chatting with other guys. And I'm like, oh, you are dumb. And I was like, you know what? I'm good. I don't need a cookie. And they're like, we got in line for this reason. I said, no, I'm good. I got out of line. I was like, I'm okay. And they're like, oh, and they chased after me. And they're like, well, if you want to ride, I can give you a ride. And at first, I was like, because I was going to take an Uber back home. I was just like, I should have took the Uber, but it was a free ride. So I took the ride. I was like, you're going to waste my time. I'm going to let you waste your time. So I let them take me 30 minutes home, whatever. They dropped me off. I had them drop me off at a different location that was not my address. And then I walked all the way around that building. So they don't actually really know where I live. And I just let them feel like, whatever. Do you know the next day, they had the nerve to text me good morning and all this stuff. And I was like, you are a narcissist on some level. Like, when I tell you the entire night they walked ahead of me, that didn't even look back. Not once. Didn't look back to check back. They just walked wherever and just expected me to follow like a little puppy. And that was enough for me to be like, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. So I noticed right away all the red flags. So them texting me the next morning like nothing ever happened after they degraded me, talked about me. They also said my jewelry was fake, which again, it is. I don't care. It's just costume jewelry. It was just like a necklace, something not even that fancy. Like, oh, this is fake and this and that. And they were just finding all these ways to try to put me down. Talking about my body, talking about everything else. Just things I like, they tried to talk about and degrade. Once I closed that door on that car, I knew I was closing a doorway to my path, to my old past. I was like, this energy is done, shut it down. So I literally closed that door, and I tell you that these people, like, they tried to keep reaching out and I had to block them on everything. And this was the 9th, this was the 8th. So this is Monday now. So this is when I'm starting to recognize all these patterns. And I'm like, okay, what was that? Like, and my skin is just getting worse and it's getting more inflamed. And I'm just like, this is crazy. So I'm up at night, I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning, just itching profusely. And I have to tip my doctor up like, hey, something's wrong. I need to come see you. We got to figure this out. So they get me on the medication. It's fine. The inflammation goes down. And then I go onto my apps and randomly there's somebody who hits me up that I was not expecting to hit me up. And they are very calming energy. Now mind you, none of these people represent anything that has to be anything stable in my life. It's just representing energy. I wake up and I recognize that this energy now that I'm chatting with, we end up talking on the 9th, yesterday. And it was very pleasant and it was very easy energy. And they put me at ease. And I felt like I was good, like nothing was trapped inside of me. That's when I started to feel like this is the type of energy that I'm supposed to be pursuing. That's all it was, just a simple indicator. It wasn't saying I need to marry this person or be with this person. It was just saying, this is the type of energy. Like their voice calmed me down. The things we talked about calmed me down. The other person made me anxious, had me on edge, making me feel very agitated. I mean, when I left them, I felt so annoyed. But when I finished talking to this other person on the 9th, I felt so calm. And when I tell you, I woke up today on the 10th, skin cleared, energy balanced. It was beautiful. Now, to add the kick to the story, the kicker is my air conditioning unit. It randomly froze up. And I'm like, what is freezing? Like, because I told you I'm in a hot area, so it gets a little musty in the building. So you have to like open up windows and stuff. And I don't really usually open up windows because they say like, more humidity makes it worse. So I was trying to keep the air on to like keep the moisture down and to keep the room dry, and my unit froze up. So I had to literally turn it off, dry it out, just let it rest. And I opened up the window and I put fans on, and I slept the best sleep last night with the windows open, with the fan going and the breeze blowing. And I had the craziest epiphany. That's what it was all about, was waking up to my aha moment of like, you were putting all the blockages of your past self in front of you. That's what the eclipse was about. It was reminding me that this is who you were. In the past, you would have chased down this pretty boy, stuck up little whatever, because it was a challenge and you enjoyed the energy. And the one that felt boring, because the one who hit me up Saturday, we were chatting like off and on for a couple days. Just, hey, how you doing, whatever. Just very simple conversation. There wasn't nothing that was profound about the conversation. And then out of nowhere, it just got deeper and deeper yesterday, just out of nowhere, which I found really engaging. And I laughed because it was like, that's how seeds work. When you plant something, you're not going to see the fruit of the labor right away. You have to allow it to blossom into what it's meant to blossom into. If it comes fast, it's fast food. It's fulfilling in the moment, but literally it wears away and then it leaves a residual on you that you don't want. So all of this energy is happening all at once. And this is why I tell people, like, when you are at that level of, like I say, master energy, master manifestor, master reader, master empath, all that stuff. I say master because I have learned how to master all of these things within myself. I do not think that I'm a master of anybody else, that I'm better than anyone else. I'm saying I mastered the energy of my own self. So I am really good at knowing when the chaos is around me, I can see straight through the chaos. It doesn't matter how much is happening. I will engage with the chaos, which most chaos does not expect. So I'm going in a circle. Like most chaos wants to circle you and like get around you and make you freak out. Nope, I jump in the chaos with it. The chaos is like, oh, they want to hang out? Oh, they're like me. Ha 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 ha. And energetically, I'm like, nah, baby. I'm twisting you up to twist you back out. And so when they're thinking that I'm engaged and I'm living into this energy that's not my energy, I'm just laughing on the inside because they'll never see it coming when I dip off. I am walking karma. That's the part of the Aquarius I accept. But my soul is still very much earth and water, and it desires stability. It desires balance. It desires consistency. So that's where the challenge of learning your natal chart comes in, right? The whole air conditioning thing, it's just another symbol of let fresh air in, let the old out, let your body breathe, let things happen naturally. It's okay. My skin flaring up, it was saying, let your skin breathe. Like last night I had to sleep naked because I was like, I need to let my body breathe. And like, I just let it breathe. I let the fan on me, I let the natural air on me, and it was just beautiful. And I woke up so refreshed and so happy that I was like, I gotta make a video because I haven't made videos like this in a while. Like I had to take a break for a minute because I get burned out. Like people don't understand, when you do readings and stuff, you get burned out because you're processing energy, not only from your own emotions and experience, but you're also processing energy of others around you, because that's how the collective conscious works. You're not just this silo of energy working by itself. You have other factors that come in and trigger your energy. So you have to know how to work with that. And so through all of that, I was listening and learning through myself that I'm like, got it. All of this time, I was learning how to listen to what's flow and what's resistance. And in my past, for some reason, I always thought that taking the resistant path meant I gotta work hard, and I gotta try hard, and I gotta do, and that's how you succeed, and pull it up by the bootstraps. No, 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 no. Yes, create. Yes, engage. Yes, take the initiation, but do not fight against the resistance. It is not worth it. Create your own energy, follow your own path. Allow the invitations to come in. Create the space for invitations to come in. When the invitation is received, it is flowing, it is easy, it is fruitful. I promise you, you just have to pay attention to how the energies work. So, all of this said, because I know this is a long story, but I had to tell it this way because I wanted people to feel what I was feeling on this journey of like anticipation and chaos and not knowing, like, yes, there's chronological stories that we can tell, but my mind doesn't work that way. It's all over the place. So you're gonna get all of the energy, how it comes out of me. Because that's how some of us operate. Like, I was a heavy drinker when I was young. I was heavy into drug use and all these other things. And when you have natural chaotic energy, your natural stasis is chaotic. So learning balance is the key. For some people, balance is their natural state. So they need a little bit of chaos. And I don't mean craziness that's bad. I mean just stirring it up. It's like some people are naturally sediment and they have the water and they're like, why isn't anything working? Well, you gotta mix it up. You gotta stir it a little bit to get some of the good stuff out of life. That's how you get the flavor, right? And then some of us are the flavor and we're a little too intense and we need to dilute it a little bit. Not dilute who you are, but calm down. Let me stretch out this energy, right? Let me make it last longer for myself so that I'm not just giving it away readily and overdoing it and overkill. Because that's how giving away too much energy happens to us. We think that we're supposed to give as empaths and give as lovers and give as nurturers, and that's concentrated love. That's concentrated energy. And when you're overly giving energy like that, yes, people who've never had it will use you and take you for granted and manipulate and siphon and take and take and take. Which is why you, as an empath and a lover and a nurturer and a spiritual baddie, have to learn how to listen to your heart for yourself. That's why we talk about learn how to love yourself. Learn how to listen to yourself. When you do that, you literally learn how to manifest exactly what you desire. And you don't have to try. When I tell you, like, these things happen for me energetically without me trying. Like, half the time I don't even know there's a new moon, a half moon, a full. I don't keep track of it. But I naturally just start to fall into, let me clean the house. Let me light a candle. Let me put on some incense and some music. And then I'll just look up something on TikTok or I'm on YouTube and people are like, new full moon, new blue moon, new pink moon. I'm like, oh, I guess I'm aligned with the energy. And it just naturally works. That's why I know, remember, as an Aquarius, I am masculine energy, but the water in me, the water bearer, is naturally feminine energy. So my natural energy inside my soul is feminine. That's why I naturally understand like how to connect with the feminine energy so well. But I also know how to relate to the masculine energy. So I'm like this double-edged sword that sits on the bridge of light and darkness at all times. And a lot of us forget that integration is the whole point of this experiment. Some people live in the dualistic sides or the polarized sides of the duality. Some people live completely in the darkness of their masculine and feminine, and some people live in the complete light of their masculine and feminine. This is how you get opposing sides, or I'm super masculine, I'm super feminine, where you think femininity means not trying, overgiving, literally like allowing others to take from you all the time without you getting anything in return, and you're just giving and giving and giving and giving. That's distorted feminine energy. That's not natural. No feminine is supposed to give to the point without receiving back. All feminine energy, water, earth, everything, it gives back. You have to give into it, right? You have to put seeds in it, you have to water it, you have to put nutrients, you have to sow it and plow it and take care of it. And not even with that, that's just man-made way. Natural nature, it does its own. It just embeds into the earth, it roots itself, but it's still doing the work to make sure that the feminine has something to hold on to, so that it can work through the roots and work through the vines and work through the cellular parts of it so that it can grow into a tree or whatever, or us. That's how it works. So the feminine needs structure. It needs that reality for itself. So for me as a masculine, I have to give myself the outside foundation that it requires for my feminine energy to feel safe. For my masculine energy, I have to learn how to produce without expectation. Because if I'm overly in my masculine, which is I do, I give, I work, I break, and I don't need anything in return, well, then you become dry and brittle and callous, and nothing soft can ever get to you. You just become this really, really soft core in the middle that no one knows about, but that becomes bitterness, and everything else around you is hard. So even when your softness wants to come out, it doesn't know how, because you built all these walls around it. So this is literally what was happening to my skin. It was trying to protect me from the walls that I was creating around myself versus letting the energy flow and just listen to what my body already knows. So all of this came into full cycle when I was like, okay, let me call the doctor. Let me get the medication. Let me stop trying to do it all on my own, like a masculine who's distorted in my dark energy of I'm so independent, I got this. That's when we say if you're in your masculine energy, it can hurt you to the point that you can't heal properly. So I was so focused on I can heal myself, that I was literally making it worse. Like at some point, the backs of my hands were horribly broken out. And the doctor's like, that's contact dermatitis. There's some chemical you're using. I was like, yeah, I was using bleach. And she's like, yeah, bleach will do that to your skin. And if you're overly using bleach too much, you're literally stripped away all the barriers. Your body's defense mechanism kicks in and it's trying to fix the moisture. It's trying to tell you you're doing something wrong. Stop. Please stop. And I'm like, oh my God. In the process of trying to make sure that I was beautiful enough for the outside world, I was literally hurting myself and making myself uglier for myself. And I'm not saying ugly as far as unattractive, I mean ugly as far as not loving myself. Ugly to me is hurting something. When you hurt yourself, when you hurt others. Like that energy I talked about, the guy from the carnival, beautiful on the outside, ugly energy. So no matter how beautiful they were, their energy was so ugly, I could not see past that beauty. And that's where you learn that you've healed, right? If you're broken, you'll look past the ugly and go for the pretty, and you'll be stuck with this shell of an energy that is rotten on the inside. When they say rotten to the core, looks great to bite on, and then it's just nothing but grossness on the inside. And there's people who feed into that and love that. And that's where it's like, don't keep feeding into energy that doesn't give you nutrients back, that doesn't feed back into you. And so I had to learn all of this energetically all at once. And there's a lot of us who are on that path, especially as healers. We have a lot that flow through us. And I want people to remember, my videos are for everyone, but my videos are primarily for healers, for other energetic empaths and people who are constantly giving their energy away, but they're not listening to their body sometimes, or they're not listening to their own spiritual journey. Last part of this video, my dream last night. I had a crazy dream that I was literally in the Secret Service. I was working for the whatever, just any Secret Service, doesn't matter what nationality or anything. It's just, I worked for a spy agency that was saving the world, right? And I was dating someone, and it was our anniversary. And just like the hero movies, like the Marvel, they didn't know my secret identity. So we have our anniversary, and I'm like, okay, well, I gotta go on this work thing, and out of nowhere, the people who are trying to attack us attack. And there's mayhem everywhere, and everyone's trying to figure out like, what's going on? And I'm like, I gotta go help save them. I'm a part of this elite team that helps save people. But my spouse doesn't know, so I have to tell them finally, like, listen, I have to go work. And they're like, it's our anniversary. You can't just leave our anniversary. So finally, one of my coworkers was like, listen, if this is your person, you have to tell them. We all have people. We're not supposed to, but if you trust them, you can tell them. So I told them what I did, and they're like, okay. And so they were like, well, I want to come with you. So somehow, some way, I allowed them to come with me on this secret mission. And my higher ups were like, well, they have to work in the service industry. They can't be on the spy side. So they can be like here helping food and all that stuff, but they can't be over here because they're still not supposed to know. And I'm like, okay, fine. So we're in this world together and I have to go off on these missions. And they're still bitter and mad that I have to go on these missions. Even though I brought them along on my mission with me, they're still upset that I still have to go on missions to help others and try to save the world. So eventually, I'm just kind of like talking to them like, why are you so upset? And I'm trying to coddle them and calm them down and make them feel better. And they're like, okay, I feel better now. And it's like, okay, whatever. And so we're out and about and we're getting food in this dream. This is my dream world. We're collecting food and I'm getting food for the day. I'm like, ooh, I can't wait to eat this for later. And I'm so excited. And we put it in the fridge, in the service fridge. And they're like, okay, I'm gonna put this away for you. And I'm gonna make sure that our friend serves it to us later. So we're sitting out in this garden, we're waiting for the food to come. And they start bringing the food out to us. And I'm like, okay, great, I gotta go wash my hands. I come back, my spouse in my dream, they have their full plate of food and my plate's empty. And I'm like, where's my food? And I see other people picking off my plate, eating my food, and they're like, oh, we thought it was like a tapas, like a buffet style. So we're sorry. And I'm like, looking at my spouse like, why didn't you protect my plate? And they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't even paying attention, I was eating. And I was talking to my other friend that I met in the service industry, and I'm over here looking at them like, first of all, you both work in the service industry, so you know to protect people's food. Why would you not protect the persons you're with food after you made such a big deal about what I do? So in my dream, I am livid. I'm like, what the heck? And so I'm upset, and I'm like, this is not fair, so I storm off. And then I go into like, lay in a room or something, and I come back to go to the kitchen to find some food, and I hear my spouse in my dream with the other person that they work with in the service industry that they're like hanging out with, they're laughing and making fun of me like, oh, he's so whatever, so sensitive, he overreacts, blah, blah, blah. And I got so mad. I'm just like, I can't believe you're supposed to have my back, and now you're making fun of me, and I didn't eat anything, and I'm starving, and I'm hungry. And in that moment, I was so mad. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't be hitting people in my daily life. When I was younger, I did. But maybe that's why my dream manifested it. I got so mad, I just bopped them, and I didn't need to, but I was like, oh my God, they're like, oh my God, we're so over, I can't believe you hit me, you're done for, buddy, and I'm like, whatever. So I felt so bad that I go to like the HR of like the Secret Service in my dream, right? And they're like, okay, well, they don't technically work for us, it was a favor to you, so there's nothing to file, like, either they stay or they go, we really don't care, because you're more important to us than this person. I'm sorry, that sounds mean, but they can stay or go or whatever you want to do, or we can put you on a new mission and they can stay here and it's up to you. And I was like, got you. Okay. So in that moment in my dream, I was like, well, you know what? I hit them. I didn't mean to, but now they're in this life that I gave them, and they met people and they can't go back to their regular life because now they work in this spy world service industry. So let them keep their job, let them stay here. I'll take the new mission. So the next morning, they ship me off to a new mission. I don't tell the ex, they just stay in the past. They don't know where I'm at, and I go off and live my life. Then I woke up. When I tell you this dream was literally a manifestation of what happened to me, from the person at the carnival walking ahead of me, talking about my body, being rude, being nasty, not being very nice or kind. They didn't protect my energy the way that I would protect theirs. Because remember, I took them into my fold. I wanted to help them. And in my past, every ex I ever had, I was always overprotecting them this way, trying to bring them into my spirituality, trying to bring them into their nurturing side, trying to love them correctly, and they didn't care. They just wanted to take and take and take. That is the resistance that I had to learn how to pay attention to. The new path, I have a mission on this earth, and I've always had a mission on this earth, and that is to give back what I get. So anything that I receive through my energy, I'm supposed to give it back for others to receive through their energy. However convoluted this story might sound, it's making sense to somebody. Whoever you are, if you want to tap down in the comments and say it's making sense, thank you again for even making it this far. But that's the part of the journey that I had to understand how to learn how to listen to, where it's like, you have to stay on your path. You have to finish your mission. You will meet tribe and people on this journey who are on the same mission, aligned with your energy. And you both will still have your separate missions, but you can do your missions together, separately, but together, because you can come back and talk about it. Remember the spies that I work with? We had a special meeting when we all went off and did our missions separately, but we would always come back and talk about what we did and how we completed our missions. It had camaraderie. Those were my people. And so that is the journey that I have reminded myself that I'm on. Like when I say the eclipse energy from the next 6 months, when they say it's going to test you, you're going to have energies who are going to come in and keep testing your old path. Are you still going to keep going against the grain and going for resistance and going for the easy fix of things that rush in and just want? It has no inkling of getting to know you or caring about you? Or do you want the energy that comes in still fast, but it's stable and it feeds you like a slow drip over time and you get there the way you want? Remember, there's a difference between someone who's breadcrumbing you and giving you nothing, and then there's something where they're giving you something every day, but slowly over time. They sound the same, but listen, breadcrumbing is, I'm gonna give you what you think you need in that moment. Drip line is, I'm gonna give you what exactly you need continuously, and you're gonna realize you're filling up. You don't feel dry. Breadcrumbing, you feel dry. Like you get this rush of, oh my God, they love me, they care about me. And then in the middle of that, it's dry. No gifts, no love, no communication, no nothing. When I mean gifts is just literally remembering something you like to eat or doing something kind. Gifts don't always mean monetary or other physical things. It can be time, love, whatever. But in the meantime, between time, they're giving you nothing in between. And then when they see that you're pulling away, they give you something again. That's breadcrumbing. A slow drip is every day, the checking in, communication, seeing how you're doing. They're talking about their day. They're giving you life. They're excited about your projects. They continue to show you love. You don't have to talk every single day, but when you do talk, they're checking in on you. Are you good? Are you okay? Just making sure. That's love. That's the path of growth. It feels slow if you don't know what love is, but when you really pay attention to the gaps in between, that's how you actually figure out what love feels like, what nurturing energy is, what replenishment is. So when you can notice the difference between breadcrumbing versus the slow drip, you made it. And during the next 6 months again of the rest of how this eclipse works, you're going to see the breadcrumbing and the slow drip. And it's now for you as the soul in the incarnation of the body and the consciousness of your past and your present to remember together, I have enough inventory now to say, this is breadcrumbing, this is slow drip. This is breadcrumbing, this is slow drip. Breadcrumbing gives you a little bit and dry in between. The slow drip continuously hydrates you and brings you back to life slowly until you are back to your normal state of replenishment, that you're overflowing and you're back to your baseline of love. Anywho, if you made it this far, you are my tribe. I thank you so much for following along. This has been a fun journey. Again, this was just a random moment of storytelling. My whole concept was, I love storytelling. I've learned that I've learned more through storytelling than just through pure didactic teaching alone. When I can hear how someone goes through their energy every day and experiences it, it helps me guide myself better. So that is what I hope my videos do for you. I hope that it finds you when it needs to find you. And as always, thank you for joining me on this spiritual journey. I love you so much. Follow, subscribe, chat in the comments if this story relates to you. As always, I love you and thank you again. Besos.